Carl is a telecoms contractor, having just completed a 2-year contract in the Bahamas. Each time he returns to the UK, he normally has a routine full health checkup at the end of every contract. On arrival at his GP surgery, he found out that his GP was on holiday, so he was seen by a locum doctor instead. He did not have any signs or symptoms of illness. The locum suggested that he had a blood test. Carl asked her to include a prostate test while testing for other diseases. The locum told him that he was too young for the test, as this was normally done on men over 50. It was only because of his sheer tenacity that the locum agreed. Had it not been for that, he may not be sharing his story now. A few weeks later, he received a call from his GP surgery, asking him to come in for an appointment. On arrival at the surgery, he was told by his GP that his PSA was high and that he would need to have a biopsy. At the time, he did not know what the acronym PSA meant. He later learned that PSA was prostate-specific antigen. A hospital appointment was made for him. He attended his biopsy appointment alone. As he changed into his hospital gown, he became extremely nervous. He was taken to the room where the biopsy was going to take place and prepared for the process. The doctor stepped out of the room for a few seconds. He quickly grabbed his clothes and ran out of the hospital and went home. When his wife got home from work, she asked him how it went. He told her that it went very well. He felt guilty about lying to her, so he decided to come clean later that evening. His wife called the hospital and made another appointment. Only this time she accompanied him. This time he stayed and the biopsy was carried out. A week later, he was invited back to the hospital to get his results. On arrival at the hospital, his oncologist asked him which news he would prefer first, to which he replied the bad news. The bad news was that his PSA was high, 6.7 UGL. The good news was that the cancer was localized, meaning that it was contained within the prostate. The hospital explained the different treatment options available to him. He was told that he would have to choose his treatment option before they would start treating him. He did not have a lot of time to decide, as his cancer was very aggressive. It is difficult to describe one's feelings when confronted with this sort of news. He remembers feeling shock, disbelief, and feeling that it was the end of the world for him. But unknown to him, it was the beginning. One of the worst things for him about being diagnosed with cancer was feeling helpless. He felt that he had lost control of his life and his destiny. He had many high and low days. His family was there for him during his highs and lows, especially his wife. She was his rock, always reassuring him daily that they will get through this together. He did not want to tell anybody about his illness, as he believed that he had to deal with it himself. He started searching the internet for information about prostate cancer, but the information he found was too much and also overwhelming and difficult to dissect. He had an idea of the information that he was looking for, but it was not available. He was confused and frustrated. The hospital arranged for him to meet a patient who had had a radical prostatectomy, the treatment option that he was interested in, but his experience was different from Carl's as he was much older. Carl wanted to talk to someone of a similar age to him. He was connected to a non-profit cancer organization, which provided an appropriate peer for him. After engaging with the peer support shared his entire experience, which included diagnosis, treatment options, coping mechanisms, the operation, and recovery process. At the end of all this call, he was able to make an informed decision and decide on the best option for him. The hospital recommended the NHS website, where he was able to find credible information on prostate cancer. Thus, he was able to educate himself. The NGO also recommended their website to Carl too. Their website had lots of information on it, which he was able to access. Carl was empowered and was able to make an informed decision by choosing his preferred treatment option, as he was now educated on his disease. Following the 4-step process, Carl's informed decision led to him having his operation in November 2010, which was successful. Carl has now joined a local gym and started a fairly strenuous regime. He has changed his diet, cut out red meat, cut down on his sugar and fat intake. He also stopped fried food. He thinks that getting fitter has helped him to feel a lot better within himself. Carl has now regained his life and is now trained peer support, helping other men with a recent diagnosis of prostate cancer. 10 years ago, he thought his life had been taken away from him. Today, he has it back. In 2018, Carl landed a contract in Dublin, Ireland, where he met Steve, a telecom architect who was trained in coding. The two were from the UK and immediately struck up a friendship. Carl shared his cancer experience with Steve. He told Steve that he wanted to give back, but he would like to do something that would benefit the entire world. Carl wanted to develop a social media platform by using the 4 simple steps that he went through: connection, engagement, education, and empowerment, where people could access peer support, non-profit organization, credible medical information of a range of disease types, and access to medical professional in a single repository, one place at the same time, as this was something that he struggled with. Steve was excited and immediately wanted to be a part of this journey. Although he would not be remunerated for his effort, they immediately started working on what was an idea. But the contracts soon came to an end. They found new contracts, but only this time Steve ended up in Jamaica and Carl in Luxembourg. Due to the different time zones, it caused the work to halt on the platform. The two guys had an idea of a possible solution, which is getting a contract on the same project. The possibility of this happening was a very slim chance. In June 2019, their dreams became a reality. They both landed a contract on the same project in Kabul, Afghanistan, on a transformation project. This has now provided them with the perfect opportunity, where they would be able to work together in the evenings and on weekends on the platform. To date, the platform is approximately 80% complete. They are now in the process of negotiating a focus group, pilot, and soft launch in Jamaica as a reference site.